Amazon employees are fighting back on Prime Day. Not a celebration for the company at all. Workers are petitioning that the tech giant stop Amazon from working ties to ICE from using Amazon's web services technology, according to BuzzFeed News. Employees are not happy about that connection to ICE. This comes as Amazon fulfillment center workers in Minnesota are striking today, saying the company has failed to meet their demands. Amazon responded in a statement to Yahoo Finance, which reads in part, quote, "We can only conclude that the people who plan to attend the event on Monday are simply not informed. If these groups, unions, and the politicians they rally to their cause really want to help the American worker, we encourage them to focus their energy on passing legislation for an increase in the federal minimum wage because $7.25 is too low." Guys, when I heard that, it was kind of similar to the way that we saw Walmart hit back when Bernie Sanders showed up at their investor day rallying for increases to the wage that they pay their workers, saying the same thing. You can go ahead and change the federal minimum wage if you think it's too low, but we are actually paying our employees a higher value than that.
Well, it's important to note that the minimum wage is not the only issue that these Amazon workers are protesting against. As you highlighted at the top of this segment, there's also the issue about Amazon's business relationships with companies that contract out with ICE, which we've seen the raids and the impacts that they have on marginalized communities. There's also the issue of just in general the working conditions for Amazon employees. A lot of them say they work very long hours and kind of not so great conditions in these warehouses. I think this is an issue that a lot of these large companies face in the era of large companies that face societal pressure through ERG, right? I mean, people care about these types of things. Now, there are investors out there who have entire investment theses on the types of companies that treat their workers well or treat their customers a certain way. So I think we expect to hear this with not just Amazon, but other types of large companies as well. The banking industry is already facing this, right? Companies that have been under pressure for their banking relationships with private prisons,
Sure.
with the gun industry. Look what Dick's Sporting Goods did with their relationship with selling guns. So I think this is just something that a lot of these companies should be expected to face as we continue to get into this era where investors and consumers care.
Yeah, I think there's two parts to this. I think there's the reality of the situation, which is understanding the facts behind are Amazon workers being taken care of appropriately. But there's also a perception issue. Anytime you have a Facebook group that has 18,000 Amazon workers talking about issues going on in the company, whether or not they are true or not true, it does matter, but that is an entirely separate issue. Just from an employee retention perspective as well as a hiring perspective, what worker is going to want to start working at Amazon when they know there's a group that has pictures of sinking ships describing Amazon Prime Day?
Yeah, sure. Especially on the biggest day for the company too. If you have two separate protest events going on in the company, it doesn't exactly sound like a great place to work. If that's really what's being talked about, you can talk about the great deals, and that's great for consumers and everything like that. But as an employee in the company, you're absolutely right. I think that's definitely important. And as we noted last week, there are a number of jobs at Amazon right now that are left vacant. I think the number was about 20,000 when we look back at it.
That's another big part of this, is that it's a very tight labor market right now, right? So Amazon workers could probably go and find another job somewhere else. So if Amazon wants to keep these workers, they need to either up their pay, treat them better in their actual working spaces, and just do a better job of making sure that the needs of their employees are actually being met. Absolutely.
And it's an important thing to highlight on Prop Day. Maybe you think twice about the deal you're getting if it's coming at a cost like that. But we'll leave that there for now.